Here's the SwiftUI MVVM app we're building, an events list app that navigates smoothly between screens. The best part, you'll start to understand MVVM in SwiftUI so clearly that you can start adding your own features right away after this video. In this first part, we'll set up the MVVM structure, create our event model and connect it to SwiftUI views so we can display real data instantly. Let's dive in. Open Xcode, create a brand new SwiftUI project, and we'll start to build the foundation of the entire app series. Welcome to iOS Insights, the channel for iOS app development using SwiftUI and Swift. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. In this part of the tutorial, we will continue with our event card view. The next thing we need to do is to add a VStack after line 71. And the purpose of this VStack will enable the user to see the time and the date of the event, which will also be within a label. They type in VStack, alignment, leading, that should be dot leading, spacing 2 pixels, next thing we do is to create the label that will include the start and the end time of the event. Event dot start time, if it's nil, if it doesn't include a value, you just put blank there, and then we convert the time to 12-hour clock and not 24. So we need to use on line 74, this should be 2 brackets. Let's do that again. 2 bracket there. Let me type that again. I think there's an issue with the text element. So that should be label, to type it again. Title. Should be capital L. Text. And then we type event dot start time and then I missed out the bracket again, so we need another bracket after the text, after the backslash. to 12-hour time. So it converts the time to 12 hours. And it does the same thing with the event end time. Which is also converted to 12 hours. Need a bracket, another bracket there to 12 hours. Missing arguments. What is that? Missing argument for parameter icon in core. Yeah, we need to add our icon. Let's do that afterwards. But there's something else we need to do, which is to add the line limit. Which is 1. So it won't be multi-lined. Also, needs dot minimum scale factor, which is 0.8. And then we will add our icon for our image. Which will be icon image system name dot clock. So what we're trying to create is this. I think there's a screenshot here somewhere. We're trying to create this layout that shows the time, which includes the start time and the end time of the event. The next thing we need to do is to add another label, and the purpose of this label will show if the event is free or paid event. So we can just copy what we've done previously. Just copy it and then paste it on the lines 82. I'll just compile it to make sure there's no errors. And then instead of the title element of the label having start time and end time, it will have event cost to signify if it's a free or paid event. We just type in the following text. event.cost, capitalize. If there's no cost, that means it's a free event. So we type free there. Else, it would be a paid event. For the system image, we just use exclamation mark, dot circle, and then we need to add a foreground color to our, what do we need to add it to? We need to add it to our title element within our label. So we need to set the foreground color to yellow. So it should look like this, as you can see here within the image. So today will be yellow, and the start and end date, start and end time will be yellow, and if it's a paid or free event, it will be yellow as well, including the system image names, or the system images, they'll be yellow also. So to do that, we need to do that after lines, I think it's after line 94. Or after line 95. So just type in font sub headline dot foreground color dot yellow, opacity 0.9. We also need to create a horizontal divider, as seen here in this image. You can see there's a faint line where it includes two buttons, so we have to create that faint line, which is a divider. And then we create the buttons afterwards. So to create that shape or that line, we have to use rectangle. We fill the rectangle with a color, which is white dot opacity 0.2. The frame height of the line will be 1 pixel, and also the frame max width will be infinity, and the alignment will be dot leading. We also need to add some padding, which is horizontal -16, and then that should be -16, so the 16 should be close to the minus symbol. And then we also need to create our buttons. So our buttons will be within our H-stack that will include 12 pixels of spacing between each element, between each of the buttons. The button caption for the first button anyway will be check-in, So that's the first button. And I said before at the beginning of the first tutorial a few weeks ago, the actual buttons, they don't do anything, but it just shows you how to lay out a card that includes buttons. So font weight should be medium. It should be font weight, yeah, medium. And then padding, that would be dot vertical 10. Yeah, that's right. And then frame, it should be max width infinity. It should be infinity. And the background is ultra thin material. Foreground color white. And the corner radius is 12. We also need to create the edit buttons. So what we'll do here, we'll just copy and paste what we've done for the first button. And then paste the button anywhere after lines 112. Name the button caption edit. I think we can leave everything else how it is. Vertical 10, infinity, ultra thin material, white and 12. So what we need to do next is add some padding for the buttons. And then we also need to add a frame as well, which is after line 124. Frame width geometry size dot width minus 32, and then height geometry dot size dot width times 1.2. And then the next thing we need to do is to set the size of the cards using the geometry reader dimensions. Similar to what we just done previously above, so I'll just copy that line and then paste it anywhere after lines 129. So that should be width geometry dot size dot width. We don't need the minus or 32 there, and then we just need height geometry dot size dot width times by 1.2. And then I think that's that for that view. Let me just compile it to see if it's okay. And then what else do we need to do? Also, please let me know which tutorial would you like to see next. You can drop your comments on the channel or email me directly.